My name is Lucy Eady and I live in Cambridge. I work for Cancer Research UK as a Senior Research Engagement Manager, and I've worked for the charity for just over 20 years now. So I've been involved with Relay for Life in some way or shape or form for a number of years now. Initially as a staff member back in the day when I was a regional manager in volunteer fundraising. Latterly as a team member and a team captain after my mum was diagnosed with a brain tumour, which sadly took her away from us way too soon. So Relay has always been part of my world, and it has always been my intention to keep being part of Relay regardless of what my official staff role might be. But it hadn't been part of my plan to end up wearing this particular t-shirt. But as you know all too well, no one plans for cancer, but it barges into our lives anyway. For me, it started back in April last year when I found a lump in my breast and in my lymph node. Having seen my mum die of her cancer, I cannot describe to you the fear and the dread that I felt when I found that unmistakable hard lump. Not so much for me. I found myself surprisingly phlegmatic about my own potential mortality, but I could not bear the thought of the effect it was going to have on my family, and in particular I couldn't bear the thought of my 11-year-old son growing up motherless without me. Fortunately, it didn't come to that, and I was very, very lucky. I was lucky for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the biopsies showed that the specific type of breast cancer that I had was aggressive but treatable thanks to a new generation of drugs, of targeted therapies, which work alongside chemotherapy to zap tumour types that were previously untreatable. And it's a sobering thought for me to, as I sit here celebrating my 20 years with the charity, to think that if I'd been diagnosed with exactly the same thing at my 10-year anniversary with CRUK, I could be facing a very different scenario. The second reason I was lucky was that despite my fears, we'd actually caught it early. So whilst the tumour was fast growing and had already spread to one lymph node, it hadn't spread anywhere else as far as the scans could show. So this meant, in the words of my oncologist, that it was both treatable and curable. It was going to be a rough old ride, but I had hope. So in May, I began a year-long plan of treatment, starting with 5 months of chemotherapy. When I went for my pre-op scan with the surgeon in early October, he looked at me with a warm and gentle smile and said that the scan showed no visible signs of a tumour in either my breast or my lymph node, which was just fantastic news. Meant that I could have a smaller operation, which in turn meant a quicker recovery and less risk of lifelong complications. Despite the fact that it appeared to have gone, I had to continue with the rest of my treatment plan because the risk of recurrence is still high with this type of cancer. So I continued to have my radiotherapy in December, and I had my ovaries removed in February and started my daily hormone tablets, which I'll be taking for at least the next 5 years. But here I am, just over a year later since that first round of chemo. It's been a tough old year, but I've got through it, and I have been so lucky to have had a positive outcome, lucky to have caught it early, lucky to have had a fantastic medical team looking after me, able to draw on amazing new drugs, lucky to have had so much support around me, and lucky to have completed this treatment before lockdown started. And I know that so many others have been less fortunate, and I think about them, and I think about my mum in particular, who had no such chances, and I never take my luck for granted. So thank you, you fabulous people, because it's the money that you, our wonderful Cancer Research UK supporters, have raised over the years that helped to fund and develop those treatments that saved my life and the lives of thousands of people like me. And it's the inspirational example of relayers and survivors and friends who I've met over the years that gave me the strength and hope to endure my treatment. So I pledge to stand alongside you, to continue to raise awareness so more cancers can get caught early, to continue to raise money so that more treatments and more detection methods can be developed to save lives in the future. I'm going to keep on relaying with all of you, because cancer is scary and horrible, and it's a nasty thief of people and joy. But in the long run, it stands no chance against all of us together, because thanks to you, your determination, your inspiration, and your amazing fundraising, more people like me are surviving cancer than ever before. So because of that, I hope and I believe that we will beat cancer together. Thank you.